to bash that Chantel. She's not here. My name's Nevaeh, and today we're gonna be talking about Love Island. And before I explain what I mean by that, first of all, different setup, different setting, because this video is gonna be different. It's gonna be a little weird. It's gonna be different from our other videos. But then again, me and Chantel, we don't really have a niche on this channel. Like, we don't have anything that's specific to what we do, which I like, but I also don't like. I like it because it doesn't stick us to a certain thing. We can always branch out and do whatever we want. But I don't like it because it kind of messes with the algorithm. It doesn't know which or who it wants to send our videos to, because we don't have a specific thing. Like, if we did all beauty content, like makeup, hair stuff, then obviously it'd be sent to people who watch those videos. But we don't really have a specific one, so it doesn't really know what audience it wants to send it to. So yeah, this video is gonna be different because it's not going to be a sit down video. It's not gonna be a challenge video or anything like that. We're gonna be talking about Love Island. USA version, season 7, the newest version, the one that's on TV currently.
Who do you think has told the most people that they love them?
Nick. Hey, bro, you just be throwing that around.
I'm trying to make it 51.
I'm at the perfect age too, 25, because you know, that's the age where your frontal lobe fully develops.
Oh yeah,
So
I still think mine's still developing, but yeah. You can sing. I definitely do.
Ooh, baby, I'm happy.
Is this Bella?
Hello?
I feel like there's a connection here between me and him.
I enjoyed watching, that's for sure.
We are young.
I look back, this motherfucker broke out the fucking cups.
Oh shit!
And
We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that though.
you're a fucking bitch.
You're a pussy ass bitch. Fuck all the way out of my fucking
Vagina, brother.
And not be for real right now. Like, we back on this again.
This is the second one, right?
No, it's actually like the 15th.
Shit.
You know what? Enjoy it. Your safe option. Scapegoat.
But we're not gonna talk about it like me sitting here and explaining how I'm feeling about the show so far and the episodes that have came out. I'm not gonna do it like that, because on TikTok, follow me, by the way, and on Instagram, and go buy my book. On TikTok, I started like a mini series, if you want to call it that, where I give my thoughts, feelings, opinions every 2 episodes or 3 episodes, depending on how they come out. I just give like brief notes on that I took during each episode. Sometimes the TikTok will be longer, sometimes it will be shorter, depending on what happens during each episode. And I just felt like it would be a great opportunity to take all of those, clump them together, and then just put them in one video. Because I feel like even though on TikTok you can definitely stretch your videos out to 10 minutes, I just feel like that's way too long for someone to be sitting and listening to me yap. So I felt like I would just make it longer and yap to you people on here. It's more of like an in-depth version. Like on TikTok, it's more of just notes. Here are my things very quick. Here's them very fast. Nothing really detailed to it. But I feel like if I make a YouTube video on it, I can jump in and out and explain a little bit further on how I was feeling or thinking about that moment. Okay, what was I saying? I made TikToks, and like you can't really give full in-depth versions of how you're feeling at the time. So I felt like, hey, if I can just take all those TikToks and club them together and make a YouTube video out of it, I can go into full depth of how I felt for that moment at that time. And it explained my side just a little bit more. Why is that light on? I just realized that the light is on. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. The dog upstairs is barking. Why can't I catch a break? I don't understand. I got my laptop, by the way. I got it. My MacBook. Ooh. This is where I'm gonna watch the TikToks off of, but I'll put in, let me scoot this side. I'll put in the clip of what I'm watching right here. I apologize. I literally sat here for like 10 minutes trying to wait out this dog barking, but the The dog upstairs just refused to stop barking. I don't know why. I'm gonna try to like, I'm going to try to record to the best of my abilities with that in the background because I know you guys can hear it. The dog is super loud. And let's just get to do it.
Love Island Season 7, thoughts and opinions that no one asked for, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. Shelly, a hot commodity, and I love that for her. But I honestly think that Austin, or better yet, even Charlie, is a better match if she gave them a chance. She's holding herself back because she's getting tunnel vision on Ace, and that's because she, Ace, and the entire villa already subconsciously put in their brains that those two are fated with each other because they had a conversation before the villa. They bumped into each other before the villa, and it's totally okay to genuinely test it out because you guys are familiar with each other, you're comfortable, and you do find each other attractive. But don't let the idea that, oh, how convenient that we bumped into each other here at the exact same time be the reason why you guys are locked in on each other. Especially because Ace is already looking. He has his eyes set on other girls, especially Huda.
Speaking of the whole Ace and Shelly thing about how they knew each other before the villa, like they bumped into each other. There was a rumor. There was even like a posted, I'll put it here, picture of someone saying like, oh, Ace and Shelly were dating before they entered the villa. They had like this whole thing going on, and they even made up a lie to like, hey, let's pretend not to know each other. It's a rumor. It turned out to be fake. And the only way that they did know each other was when what Shelly and Ace said. They just happened to be like, oh, I know you. That's it. I do not like Ace and Shelly together. I'm an Ace hater, okay? I do not like Ace. I don't like him at all. I think he's a manipulator. I think he is saying the exact things that he needs to say in order to win. He may genuinely have a connection with Shelly and he may seriously like her, but I also think that he is always looking for someone better to come in. He just has Shelly in his back pocket and he's just gonna save her if no one else works out. I did love Shelly at first, and I'm gonna explain more when I get to that TikTok. I did enjoy Shelly at first. I think she's absolutely adorable. I think she's very confident in herself. I love her style of her looks. She seems extremely sweet, but as the show progresses and the choices that she makes, I just can't back her in some sense. Also, she's into Ace and I'm an Ace hater. So I can't get down with the get down.
Ready to take her on if Jeremiah took 2 steps back.
At first, I thought I was delusional when I was saying like, oh, Ace was just really into Huda at the time and that's why he just wasn't buddy-buddy with Jeremiah like that. But I've come to see all over my Instagram that a lot of people actually agree with that thought. Ace really wanted Huda at the beginning, but Jeremiah and her just clicked instantly and he had no way of getting into that relationship and trying to test the waters because she was so locked in. They were locked in from the jump and he never had the opportunity to jump in and be like, hey, I want to get to know you. I'm interested. So he became Jeremiah's biggest hater. Ace, very down the line of the show where he continually says like, hey, everyone shouldn't be closed off. We're still so early into the game. He's like the main one advocating for that. And it's probably just because he's always wanted to chase with Huda and he never had that opportunity.
For Bella, first of all, very interesting way to spell that name. Second of all, I think she's too in her shell still to really enjoy herself. And I think the men are seeing that and that's why they're not really attempting to get to know her. You, Lisa, we will not talk about that shorty because I heard some tea. Alandria.
I even heard even more tea, like being arrested.
I love her energy and I love her reaction. She's definitely what this season needs in order to keep up to par with last season, season 6. Because last season, everyone loved the drama and everyone liked that all the cast members, especially...
Okay, speaking of Alandria, when I first recorded this TikTok, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I wasn't her biggest fan. When it comes to Alandria, it's more of like, she just didn't stand out to me. So there was no reason for me to be like cheering her on. Further down the line of the show so far, I am an advocate Alandria. I love her down so much. And her face card is tea. Her body is tea. The one thing, and please, I'm not bashing her in any sense. The only thing about her that is a little, is her boobs. They're just so, and maybe she has work done. If not, that's fine too, but they're just so round and so big that you can see that she has to go like this all the time. Like her arms can't just be like this. They have to be out in order for her to like be comfortable with her arms, because her boobs are just so out and wide and round that she can't just crush them, because then she's crushing her boobs and it's uncomfortable. So that's it though. Everything else about her, I love her. I love her personality. I love her looks. I think she's amazing, and she's definitely a star in my eyes.
The girls were saying how they felt, no matter if it was too harsh or not. And Alandria is doing that so far, especially when she called out Huda.
Yes, Alandria always gives her opinion. She always says what's on her mind, and I love that for her. She does not care how people perceive her. Even though sometimes, and this is a thing about Shelly that's going to be said later on, her and Shelly sometimes, or like a majority of the girls, they're always holding back a part of themselves on what they truly want to say. And it's probably because basically everyone knows this show by now. They all know they're being recorded for TV. They're all knowing that they can get sponsorships out of this and that they can get brand deals and yada, yada, yada. So they're always kind of watching what they're saying. And I feel like it makes them artificial, superficial, not really themselves.
When old girl was saying little slick comments, not flat out, but basically saying that my man is stuck beside me, I have a man on my arm, and y'all don't. They left you for a new girl, which is crazy. So Alandria called her out, and we're eating it up, because give us more.
Which the next episode, it wasn't actually a call out. Alandria tries to explain that it was more of like a gossip thing. We're gonna gossip about it later as girlies, a kiki. You don't gotta make a big scene right now. With Huda, for me as a person, she's not someone I would personally hang out with. She's not my cup of tea, but I can see her appeal.
Her and Taylor, I really do not see them working out. So far, they're cute. I can vibe with them, but I just feel like there's a spark missing. It's more of...
I still stand behind that. I know later on in a different TikTok, I say something completely different, but right now, I stand behind this. I do not think Taylor is into her at all. I think he does find her attractive in some kind of sense. They did have a friendship they built a friendship first and then jumped into the romance. I think she's way more into him than he is into her.
Like, we're friends and we'll stick it out with each other, see where it goes. But if someone better comes in, I am leaving. And we low-key saw that when Taylor got up for Sierra. So I really did like her personality.
Speaking of which, I'm surprised that even happened, because later on in the show, you would be like, what? Taylor was into Sierra for a minute? I love Sierra. I love her down. I think I'm in love with her, actually. She's absolutely gorgeous. She has a great personality. She has a nice head on her shoulders. And her style, absolutely amazing. I need to know where she shops. I think Sierra and Nick go really well together. I do. At first I was like, but now I'm like, okay.
Her vibe at first, but now that her and Jeremiah are getting very comfortable with each other, she's kind of...
But back to my main point, Taylor just not into Alandria, and he's definitely waiting for someone more his style to come into that villa.
Switching up on the girlies, and I'm not here for it. Like, we get it, your man is not leaving right now, but you don't gotta rub it in their face.
Right now.
I'm gonna quickly speed run between all the boys because it's kind of give all the same energy anyways. So, like I said, Ace, he's looking at Huda, but I also think that he is interested in Shelly. If it's genuine, make a move. If it's more of a subconscious thing, like I said before about them being baited, keep it pushing. Jeremiah, I love that him and Huda are very comfortable with each other. I can feel their vibes. They're cool, but I feel like maybe more on his end, it's gonna switch up, especially when she tells him that she got a kid. Taylor, cool vibes. Not really seeing much from him. His boyish antics, which is cool. I did not see the Sierra thing coming. Austin,
at all. I really don't. Like, what?
Hope there's someone out there for him. He's just giving more introverted than extroverted. He's too calm.
At first, yeah, the very first couple episodes, he was very in his shell. Now it's like his real personality coming out.
Too chill of a guy. Nick. I can't really fault him for his playerish ways right now because it is only day 2. But dude, the quickness on the switch up. One kiss had him folding.
Nick, for me, I don't know how I feel about this dude. Some of his actions and his words are so different. He'll do one thing and then he'll say another. It blows my mind, and he's always been like a teeter-totter to me. One minute he's like, okay. The next minute it's like, dude, why? Mostly because like how he just handles like his relationships. When it comes to like the whole Bella and Sear situation, he played in her face. Y'all could... In the interview that Bella did, she basically explained like, oh yeah, there was never an inkling in me that he wasn't gonna choose me. And you can see it in that scene where she's like super excited to be picked, and then when she isn't, she's shocked. So I totally believe her side. He was definitely playing in her face, and it was sitting wrong with me and it's getting dark and I need to turn a light on. Watching episodes 1 and 2, I was not a Nick fan. But on to episodes 3, 4, and 6. I don't watch after sun episodes. I think they're very boring. They're not really contributing to the show in any way. And I feel like it's more of a way to brand Love Island than it is to get viewers interested in the show.
Season 7 episodes 3 and 4, and then record more after episode 5, like after I watch it. That comes out tonight. But these are my thoughts, feelings, opinions that no one asked for, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Starting at episode 3, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really have that many thoughts, feelings, or opinions. It was kind of like a filler episode for me. It felt like nothing really happened besides the big game. And with that being said, Austin,
baby,
you can't just walk up in this villa saying like, oh, I'm a good boy, and then have that many bodies. Like, what?
This game genuinely shocked me. I was watching it and I was expecting like Austin to be one of the prude ones, because at this point in time, he's not really doing much. He's not really saying much. I hate to say it because it sounds really rude, but my perception of him and even Amaya, even though I love Amaya down, and we'll get to her in a minute, they both give airhead. I do believe that they have intelligence, but the way that they speak, the way that they convey their sentences, and so I can never really take them seriously until like the mood shifts. No hate to them at all. So when I heard that, when I was listening and watching this challenge and found out that Austin was getting busy, I was like, there's just, wow.
A little bit is the girls being turned off by Charlie's answers. They kept calling him a liar, saying what he was saying verbally didn't match up with what was presented from the briefcases. But I don't get why, because you can definitely catch that many bodies, but not send that many pictures. You can definitely send that many pictures, but not catch that many bodies. I'm just a little confused on how they think it's a turn off when you have people like Austin, who's just catching them like Pokemon. I still don't want.
No, yes, because a lot of those girls wrote off Charlie off the bat, saying that he's a liar and that there's no way that he did this but didn't do this. I saw more of his perspective than I saw the girls, because you can do whatever you want. You don't have to go and have with somebody, but you can definitely send them a nude. So clearly they even thought that these were very broad and very vague terms of what they meant. And I just feel like the girls jumped down his throat a little too quick on his answers, because a lot of them weren't matching.
Shelly to be with Ace, who is very messy, because why are you poking Jeremiah on purpose? Unless you're trying to get at Huda. It's okay, babe. You can.
Every chance that he has, he's poking at Jeremiah, trying to get a reaction out of him, so everyone would see that he's a crash out and possibly get him voted off. He tried so hard to show everyone that Jeremiah was a terrible guy. He was trying everything in his power to get this man to yell, to just basically scream and shout and retaliate in a negative way, which he basically never did. He was always very calm and collected with his responses. Everyone's still very much like Jeremiah, which Ace did not want, because Jeremiah was clearly his biggest competitor. Because like, even if you do not like Jeremiah and the way he handled things with Huda, you cannot deny that this man is gorgeous. He has the body, he has the face, he has a nice, calm personality. Yeah, he might be a love bomber, but so was Huda. The minute she confessed that she had a daughter to him, she was basically fantasizing about what their life outside of the villa would be like.
Just admit to it. There should be no reason why you're picking on him and nobody else.
Seriously.
It's a little weird that people see people. You're seeing your own. Okay, and then obviously the main thing that came from these 2 episodes is Huda getting the courage to finally go up to Jeremiah and be like, hey, I have a kid, you know? And that's really strong of her, because you can see in her eyes that she was so scared. And everyone's on the internet is basically saying like, oh, his reaction, that is not looking too good. But like, I personally don't think it was that bad of a reaction. I think he did better than what he could have. That man could have easily gotten up and walked away. He could have been like, yeah, I'm done with you. He could have said so many worse things, but just saying like, oh God, it's not bad. I mean, anyone would be in shock, you know, from not telling me day one.
A lot of people were like, immediately they saw his reaction, they're like, yeah, it's not gonna work out. That's not the right way he should have went about things. But it's like, he kind of gave the same reaction as Nick. He was in shock. He was like, are you serious? It's not like he got up, ran away, and told the entire villa that she's a mom and that he doesn't want to be with her anymore. He basically just was like, okay, I need time to sit on this. Anyone would be surprised. Which also, people were also against Huda, saying like, she definitely should have told him that day one instead of leading him on for so long. Which, yes, but also that's a very hard thing to tell somebody. It could be a deal breaker, especially if you were a younger woman when you gave birth. It's a deal breaker because a lot of men in their minds instantly think like, oh, she's a trapper. She's just using men to get babies, feed off of them kind of vibe. So I understand why she was so scared and why she wants to trust somebody before she jumps into that. Jeremiah and Huda haters, get out of here. Don't get me wrong. I do not like them together. I think they were very toxic, but I think they were cute for what they were. I think everyone just hated on the fact that they got along so quickly. Especially Ace.
It's only been like a couple of days, maybe a week, but not telling someone and then suddenly it's like, damn, I would be like that too. It's better reaction than a lot of people are making it out to be. Which then follows up with me saying like, oh, he later on expresses in the confessional that right now he feels good about it and his feelings didn't change. Me personally, I think that it's not going to change now because he doesn't physically see the child. He's heard about it, he knows, but he didn't see a little girl. It's not fully processed, so he's like, okay, I feel good. Nothing's wrong right now. Once they get out into the real world and he sees that little girl, it's a wrap. He's gonna be like, ooh, stepdaddy? I don't think so. Okay.
Well, I am jumping to conclusions that he would immediately dump her once they get out the villa and he sees that daughter, which he actually confessed in an interview now that he's kicked off, spoiler alert, that he would never go back to Huda because of he watched the show back and saw the things that she was saying about him and stuff like that. I do not think that he would immediately be like, oh, you actually have a kid and leave her. I do think that it would be a tougher scenario for him to stay. Like he would definitely have to be like, oh my God, I have to actually care for not just my new girlfriend, but her kid as well, because now he wasn't just a guy with a girlfriend. He was now low-key building a family, and I don't know if he was ready for that in a sense.
And then when it comes to episode 4, the main thing from that episode is the baseball game that they had to play, the challenge that they had to do.
Disgusting, and I'm about to say that in a second. Gross. So nasty. I do not like these challenges that they have to do. I do think that they should be able to indulge in that sexual tension that they obviously all have with each other. But once you start adding like liquids and wet things and the idea that you have to like spit in each other's mouths, it's kind of, it gets gross. Like I saw way back that one of the past contestants, she was admitting her experience on Love Island and what you had to like endure. And she explained that the contestants cannot like shower that stuff off of them until they do a confessional in the outfit. Pre-game, post-game, they cannot do anything. So they have to sit there until everyone has done a confessional, whether they air that confessional or not. I would be so grossed out. I would have to be the first person to do a confessional every single time. Or I would have to be like, sorry, I'm not participating. I would have to make an excuse every time. Like, you're not about to go shove a popsicle in my mouth and suck it out of my mouth, and now I have juice all over me and I have your spit all over me, and we're still making out in a nasty ball pit that everyone is sweating in. Their grimy dirt and everything off their body is also in that ball pit, and then it's gross. It's really gross.
First of all, ew. Second of all, ew. I'm only saying ew because you're telling me that I have to dig my face in some popcorn and then make out with somebody. I have to be squirted on by this weird substance and then make out with somebody.
The baseball thing, they were in popcorn. I don't know if that popcorn was real or not. It looked real with how greasy and crumbly it looked on their skin. See, I don't want buttery popcorn rubbed all over my body. And then they wonder why most of these contestants end up breaking out like on their faces. They get a lot of acne and stuff. It's because they just constantly, not only are they constantly like having unknown substances like food on their skin, but they're also in the sun all day. Maybe they got in the pool, so now they have chlorine on them. They're wearing sunscreen. The girls are wearing makeup throughout the day. The guys even the girls, they all probably put on their like skincare in the morning, their lotions, their perfumes, their colognes, like the clothes that they wear, their jewelry that they're wearing. There's just a lot of things constantly on their skin. It all builds up. And obviously, yeah, they can go shower, but having to wait after everyone does a confessional in order to wave all that after, it's just, you can feel it building on you and you just feel dirty and gross. I would not enjoy myself at all.
Ball pit, put a popsicle mouth and then make out with somebody, and then once all of that is lathered up with like sweat and saliva, I have to go to the fourth base place and make out with somebody. Gross. Okay, and like obviously the whole discourse is at the end of the baseball game where the two new girls come in, and I already forgot the girl's name, but she picked
Hannah and Maya.
the one that she's interested in. And then you have Huda on the sidelines being rude. She's throwing the middle finger, she's gagging, she's making side comments, she's giving evil looks. It's just the whole shebang. But instead of like turning away and refusing to watch, she's staring at them like a hawk. Like, girl, you can't torture yourself and then be upset when you see something that you don't like, you know? But Jeremiah, I feel like he took it really well. He was actually really respectful. You could see that he wasn't that into it. He tried to like kiss her back to be respectful to her, the new girl who picked him, but he wasn't giving his all, as if Huda was on kissing him, you know? Which then after the fact, Huda then goes to Shelly and is basically dogging this girl out. You don't know nothing but her name. It's her job to be a bombshell and come in and take your man. You're mad that she's came in to take your man. She's doing her job. But Huda's over here being rude. She's like saying, oh, I hate her. She's a snake. She's evil. I can see her intentions. Like, girl.
Jeremiah he's been respectful to Huda from the moment she was picked to be his partner. And I just think that a lot of people overlook all the things that he did do. While Huda had all right to be so upset that Jeremiah was switching on her, I do not think that she should have yelled and threw a tantrum the way that she did. But I do think that she has the full reason and right to be that upset, because if you guys truly sit down and watch the way that Jeremiah treated her, that was his girl. That was the one he had his sights on. He did not care about anyone else, which is the reason for the show. Yeah, you can say that he was using her and that the reason why he just kept attached to her is because if they stuck it out long enough, they can definitely make it to the end and win this joint.
Her intentions are to come in and take your man, and you're mad about that. It really blew my mind.
Yeah, this really turned me off from Huda. I just feel like it was very unnecessary for her to just start bashing people she literally didn't even get to talk to.
The same personality we saw at the bonfire. Girl, you can't be mad. And Shelly even called her out on it. Well, she didn't call her out. She tried to be like, hey, you don't have to like her. But she tried to tell her to...
Shelly, she's always holding something back. Like, she did try to
be like, hey, okay, don't bash the girl. You don't gotta like her, but you don't gotta say all these hateful, mean things when you don't even know her.
But then it's like, that's all she does. She says it one time and she just lets Huda do it again repeatedly afterwards.
Later in the confessional was like, girl, it's been a couple days. There's no way that you could be this in love already. Which I totally agree. There should be no reason why you're this overprotective over this man that you met a couple days ago. It's not that deep, babe. And it's not like...
Yeah. I mean, while he was treating her like a princess, I feel like she shouldn't have worn her heart on her sleeve so easily. It just gives me a sense like she's done this before and she grows attached to people way too quickly. Because it's not just with Jeremiah, she does it with her friendships with the girls as well. She called herself emotionally intelligent. I just feel like she's saying that because she has a kid and she kind of has to learn how to control her emotions to have a kid.
There's no one else in the villa that he's interested in. You need to relax. But yeah, it really threw me off of Huda. At first I really liked her. She gave chill, calm vibes. Now it's just like, ooh, maybe you're the evil one. Okay, just finished, literally.
Now that Jeremiah is gone from the villa, she's more of just a background character. She doesn't do much. She's never yelling. She doesn't really stand out anymore.
Just finished episode 6. And, ooh, what a doozy. I mean, Huda, girl. You are so flip-floppy, it's actually insane. You were just bashing this girl, and then the minute that she doesn't want your man anymore, you guys are tight. When it comes to their coupling, for me, I automatically knew if they put Ace first, he's gonna make a choice, and then Austin's gonna have to base his choice off of what Ace does, which I'm actually okay with what happened. You know, didn't want Shelly with that man anyways. And Shelly and...
Which I actually make my theory a little bit down the line. Ace didn't choose Shelly because he wanted a chase. It was so stupid. It was a dumb decision. And it hurt my feelings because he played with Amaya. He altered her brain chemistry just by how he handled that situation.
And Shelly admits that, you know, she wasn't really feeling the vibe with Austin at first, but you know, right now she's gonna feel it, which I'm okay with. I want to see her explore something that's not Ace. Suit me. As for who Nick picked, I am genuinely in shock. I really thought he was gonna pick Bella.
I was happy with the fact that Shelly picked Austin because, yeah, like I said, I did not want her with Ace. I still don't want her with Ace. I think she deserves so much better. Do I think that her and Austin were a good match? In some sense. A whole opposite attract kind of thing vibe was going on between them. Now looking back at it, you can just see that she was really never into him. It was more her just trying to give it a try.
For real, I thought he was. But then he said see her and I was like, ooh.
When Nick chose when Nick chose Sierra, I was genuinely in shock.
Speaking of which, Sierra is so bad. I don't care what nobody says. That girl is stunning. Body T, face beats. The outfit she wore to the recoupling really proved that. She was the best dressed, hands down. She looks amazing. Now, I'm not saying you can't be upset that your friend is leaving the villa. I'm not saying 100%. I feel like if I was in a position, I would be heartbroken too, especially if you're my day one. We met the first day, we came in together, you know, we went to each other for advice. I'm not saying that. But for Huda to be bawling her eyes out the way that she was, kind of blew me. It made me angry. Maybe it's because like her personality is really throwing me off now, but seeing her cry so hard when no one else was, actually insane. And yeah, they were close. Again, you can be upset, but for you to just streaks crying heavily is astronomical to me.
What irritated me about the fact that Huda was crying so hard over Bella, and I swear to God, every time I tried talking, this dog just starts barking right after I start talking, is because it just falls back to my whole point about how Huda has like attachment issues in a sense. It also falls into that sense of fake sisterhood where it's like, you've known her for a couple of days. There should be no attachment there. On to 7 and 8.
Love Island USA Season 7, Episodes 7 and 8. These are my thoughts, feelings, and pains that no one asked for, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Let's get into it. Starting off with Huda and Jeremiah. Their relationship is crashing and burning very fast. You can just see that he's slowly becoming turned off by her, and it has to be because of all the slick things that she says.
He mentions, before I mentioned that he in the interview he said he would never get back with Huda because he watched the show back and he saw all the things that she would say when he's not around. It just shows that there's a lot more to the whole him being turned off by her from the things that she says. The one thing I do not like is the faces that he constantly makes. He's always like scrunching up his face like he can't believe that she just said that. And then he kind of just shuts down. I do not like that. But I feel like he really was a good communicator on what he wanted and how he felt.
Especially about men. And so it's all building up here. It's all resonating with him. And he's thinking long and hard about it. And that on top of the fact that he outwardly says that he does not like the way that she talks to him sometimes. She like talks down to him as if he's another kid of hers. And I can see where that would make someone be like, ooh, maybe not. And I was right. I knew it. Jeremiah said it himself while talking to Alandria. He does not know how he's going to feel truly, deeply about Huda until he sees that little girl. He does not know if they're going to be a strong, committed relationship outside until he sees Huda's child. And
Clock that T.
definitely solidifies the fact that Huda is definitely two-faced, a little shady, is when she was chit-chatting with the girls after the game, and she was like, the reason why I picked Ace is because it's obvious that he treated you unfairly. He put you two in a situation, Shelly and Amaya in a situation where like it made them go against each other, and it was like definitely wrong. He's in the wrong. So she'd rather pie him, even though she's all girlhood, and she stands beside Amaya and understands where Amaya is coming from. But then on the flip side, when her and Ace have a little chit-chat, she decides to flip the script and be like, oh, the reason why I picked you is because I thought we all collectively knew it was a joke, and we all know that you're more interested in Shelly, and the reason why I pied you is because I'd rather pie you as a friend, as a little joke, a little hee-hee, instead of face Amaya. Babe, you weren't saying that 2 seconds ago. You were just all serious and a kiki in Amaya's face and all the girlies' face and understanding, and now you're in Ace's face trying to be buddy-buddy. Make it make sense.
I feel like I didn't explain that situation good enough because I was trying to recall exactly how the conversation went, but I still stand behind what I was thinking. She's very flip-floppy. She puts on faces depending on who she's talking to. I feel like she doesn't want to ever lose anybody, and it comes all back to her emotions and trust issues and probably being hurt a ton before in her life. These are all assumptions. I'm assuming. Do not. I don't know her past. I don't know who she is. We never met before. She needs to constantly reassure people like, oh, I got your back. This dumb fly.
But my biggest gripe with this cat, Ace. Nasty man, Ace. Amaya said it. He is a player. Pause. It's actually more, he's just very charming.
He's probably also a player. I try to be nice and say pause, but he probably is.
And he knows he is. Like, he knows he's good looking. He knows he has a suave kind of vibe going on, and he's rocking with it. But the biggest thing that he's doing wrong is not outwardly admitting to everyone, even though they already know, that he wants Shelly so bad. Like, just go admit it. He wants that chase. He wants her to chase him because he knows he's good looking and he knows he's charming. So he picked Amaya at that bonfire instead of picking Shelly like an idiot. He thought that Shelly would chase after him, but she didn't. So now Ace's game plan is like, let me push Amaya away. Let me turn her off of me so I don't have to do the turning off, you know? It's just because, like, there's no way that you're gonna say, I don't like being touched. That people say nowadays, especially for us women, we just call everyone babe. It's a term of endearment. We don't mean that we're getting married tomorrow. We just be like, okay, babe, sure, babe. It's just a cute little saying. Don't take it seriously. So when he says not to call him that because it makes him uncomfortable and he's a slow burner, and then turn around and go hug Shelly goodnight, kiss her on the forehead, remove the hair out of her face, make out with her, but you can't do You can't even hold Amaya's hand? Blows my mind.
Because yes, exactly. This is what I'm talking about when I said that Ace altered Amaya's brain chemistry. He's setting all of these boundaries that he never had before. And he still actually does not have. This, oh my God, this fly, these dogs, there's no sun. I can turn my light on, but I'm choosing not to. It was really rude and disrespectful and mean and grimy, and it doesn't sit well with me at all. Because now Amaya has to ask every guy that she's even interested in, like, hey, what are your boundaries? Are you okay with me saying this?
And I do not like him at all.
At all.
And another thing that made me so angry is that Ace and Nick had the audacity to be so butthurt by that kiss or pie game that they decided that they're just like, yep, let me just get into Jeremiah's head and make him rethink everything about Huda. No, because Ace and Nick even have Taylor questioning. He's jumping on their bandwagon, saying rude things about Amaya. Now, don't get me wrong. That girl could be annoying, okay? Yabba, yabba, yabba. Always talking over people. Never.
I don't mean annoying. Because I don't mean to be rude. I really don't. But her voice, it's just not for me. And you can't help that. Clearly, she can't change that. And I don't fault her for that at all. But for me, her voice is one of those voices that it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's like, can we just not for 3 seconds? And when she's crying, it gets worse. Oh my God, how do I fix what I'm trying to say?
Catch a break, girl. But she's not wrong. You had her thinking that...
That's another thing that she did was she constantly talked over somebody. She didn't give them a chance to speak, but she should allow them to do.
You were into her. And then when you found out that Shelly didn't really want you like that, you got upset. Babe. It's astronomical because Jeremiah is really in his bag now and he's thinking long and hard. And I'm thinking long and hard with him because what is going on? Why does everyone believe these two? I'm baffled. So when Sierra was like, hey, what's wrong? And Austin piped up and was like, oh, they got into his head. I said, clock it. Because exactly what they did. And I can't wait for the next episode.
That's exactly what they did. Those boys gathered around Jeremiah and just started listing things that he should be looking out for when it comes to Huda and their relationship. And it truly made Jeremiah, because he, like I said, he was already building things about Huda that he just couldn't get behind. And it had to do with all the things that he was, like the way she was talking to him. And it was just building. And then you have people who are just like reassuring those thoughts in your brain. I'm also glad that Austin is low-key a Ace hater as well, because he called that out. Okay, on to episodes 9 and 10.
Love Island USA Season 7, Episodes 9 and 10. These are my thoughts, feelings, opinions I no one asked for, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Let's get into it. I had actually forgotten to take notes on how I truly feel about each episode, both episodes, and therefore, I can't tell you exactly how I felt during certain scenes. And my smooth brain never retains memory good enough, so I can never remember exactly what happened in each episode. But I'm gonna be honest, there are 2 main big points by the end of episode 10 that I knew I had to keep locked in my brain because I had to share it. 1, Austin is way too freaky. 2, I would never, ever back Nick or that crusty, dusty man.
Ace. For Austin, again, it just really confused me. It blew my mind. Also, another thing that I've never mentioned in TikTok, but you can tell, he's so into Ariana. Like, that man wants Ariana so bad, the host.
I apologize if there's anyone out there that genuinely supports this man. I cannot. These are my opinions. The character that he's portraying on the show right now is egotistical. He knows he's charming. He knows that he's good looking. And he's using that to his advantage.
I said that.
Playing the rest of the villa, that he and the new bombshell had an amazing conversation because he wants to keep Shelly in his back pocket just in case she doesn't work out. He knows that he can say all the right things to Shelly to keep her just close enough so that she won't run away, but still give them both enough freedom to do whatever they please. Now, don't get me wrong. I think a part of him does truly like her. But a part of me also is saying that he's just using her. Ooh, Love Island USA Season 7, Episodes 12 and 13, I believe. These are my thoughts and opinions that no one asked for, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Let's get into it. I'm going to try to do this really fast because I have a lot to say. These last episodes really shook me to the core, and I just want to get it off my chest. starting off strong with our heavy hitters. Let's go for Huda and Jeremiah. Oh, Lord. Someone tell this woman that she is so overbearing and overdramatic. They are the perfect example of a toxic couple who don't see it. They're the people that you have to constantly tell or they won't believe you. They're also the type, because of the amount of times that we see them getting freaky within the sheets, because you can't lie and say they only...
When I say overbearing, I mean more of like, she's like always overlooking you. That's what. She's always over your shoulder, staring, making sure.
Done it one time, like she mentioned. They've definitely done other things underneath those blankets when everyone else is asleep, which I also don't understand how you guys cannot hear them when they're literally 2 inches away from you. Anyways, they're the kind of couple that they fight or they'll bicker or they have a little mini argument or anything around that area, and then right after they'll have makeup, and then, you know, they'll be fine again. That's exactly what's been happening.
And if you watch like the clips of where they're in bed sleeping close enough, you can see that they're definitely, a lot of the couples in there, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but a few of them in there are definitely touchy-feely underneath the blankets.
I forgot to mention that I'll be doing this by episode 12 and then episode 13, so if I go from one couple to the next couple and then back to that previous couple, it's because I'm doing it in episode order. Thank you. So jumping over to Hannah and Charlie, I just want to say, Hannah, babe, you have no right to be upset with Charlie for having a simple conversation with someone else when you were shoving your tongue down Pepe's throat. You have the right to be upset. And I understand, oh, it's because he pulled her and not the other way around. Okay? What does that have to do with anything? You guys did not close off, therefore he is able to pull and talk to whoever he wants. Now, hopping over to Taylor and Landry really quickly, I just want to say that they're kind of sort of maybe growing on me a little bit. I don't know, I think it's because Taylor's seeing the threat of other people wanting Landry and Landry actually looking other ways. They still come to the place, breaking out of the shell a bit a little more, and he's like...
They can have cute moments, like I'm about to say, but I still stand behind the fact that he's just not into her.
Trying to do more in order to show that he's actually interested in her. And they can have some really cute moments. With that being said, I just don't think that they fit. Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah.
And with Taylor's physique, he's a bigger and buffer man. That's the energy that she gives. And with Taylor's physique, it's just not fitting the bill. He seems like he can be a protector. He does. He seems like he's a man. Yes, he's everything. But physically, is my point. Physically, he's not fitting her bill, and I just don't see it. Otherwise, they're really cute. Now, ooh, Nevaeh comes to the point of like, oh my God, the recoupling, the bro. When America chose that Jeremiah and Iris be coupled up together, I was in shock. I was blown away. I was baffled. I was just as confused as they were. America was being messy, and it shocked everyone. Shelly and Amaya. Ooh, Amaya, I'm gonna punch you in your throat.
I take that back, Amaya. I love you down, girl. I would never do that to you.
How are you gonna go and say that you're doing all this because you're Hannah's best friend and you're girl code, right? And you would never do that to her by getting with Charlie, even if you guys didn't have a great conversation before, and then you vote him off.
I did not like that, though. Like, you saw how happy Hannah was with Charlie. There was no reasoning behind it, besides the fact that he showed a smidge of jealousy, which he had all rights to, because she was literally in soul ties tonguing this man down. Charlie wasn't doing that. He wasn't going around making out with other girls in the villa. Not that any of them wanted him, but like he wasn't showing that he was intending to do that with anybody else. He really liked Hannah and he was loyal.
Make it make sense. As for Huda and Jeremiah, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. This is clearly what they needed to show everyone's true colors, and that's what episode 13 did. Now, to episode 13, you know how Huda keeps constantly saying, oh, we're mom and dad of the villa. We have the best connection, and everyone can see that. Wrong. They do not have the best connection. They're just the most obvious. They're in every
Exactly.
couple things. So of course, everyone who watches them all day is gonna be like, oh, okay, they're pretty strong. You know, they're open about it. They're doing their thing. I'm not gonna try to get in between that. That's exactly what it is. Also, here Huda go again, pulling the mom card. Oh, just want to let you know, Ace, I'm a mom, and girl, no one cares. No one cares. No one cares. You're not the first mom guy to tell the chat. Okay, I'll be honest. I am not the biggest Ace fan, if y'all couldn't tell. But he's standing on business, and I can respect that. I can.
No, because absolutely no one cares. She can tell the world, and we're gonna be like, okay, cool.
Also really good at making television. He knows exactly what to say, he knows exactly what to do to poke everyone in all the right places, to make them tick, to make them go off. And I can respect that because everyone likes watching the drama. He meant what he said what he meant. Also,
I'm Ace's I'm Ace's biggest hater, but the way he plays the game is very impressive.
Huda and Jeremiah have me cackling. The whole villa has me laughing my booties off because there's no way that y'all can really sit here and think, oh, America's seeing something that we don't. Oh, they're protecting us from each other. That's why they separated us. No, babe. They did it because they wanted to be messy. What?
Jeremiah and Huda generally had the thought that it was because America's trying to protect them from each other, that they're seeing things, that we're seeing things that they don't. I mean, that's true, but it's also like we want to be messy. I personally didn't vote, but it was clearly just like to break them apart, to cause drama.
Oh, and kick Nick out. Kick him out. I'm tired of him. No, because there should be no reason why he's playing both sides of the fence. On one hand, he's telling Jeremiah that he needs to explore other connections because there's no way that him and Huda are locked in like this. She must be scheming him for something. And then on the other hand, it's telling Huda, oh yeah, he shouldn't have done that. He should have definitely...
Another reason why I was not liking Nick. He was playing both sides of the fence.
...consoled you and not just leave you hanging like that. That's...
Which later on proves that he was never really Team Jeremiah.
So unfair. Like he said, he's just scared of Huda and he refuses to stand on business like Ace. No, because I'm just as confused as Jeremiah is. He does one thing, he gets bashed for it. He does the opposite like he told him to do and he gets bashed for it. I'm totally on Jeremiah's side here because there's no reason why everyone's gonna lash out at me like I'm the bad guy and I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't choose Iris. America did. I didn't choose to go on this date. Love Island.
Yeah.
It'd be so wrong for him to say, no, I'm not going. Yeah, he had a great time on the date. So what? And then for Huda to start crying because they had a beach date. Oh, and you guys had a beach date.
He didn't pick the day. I absolutely hated that she made that to play victim. There was never a point in time where he was able to be like, yeah, I want to do this for our date. No, it's already preset. They just have to go. You cannot fault him for that.
Oh, to get on a boat and go on a date. He woke up to that message. You cannot be upset with him. You can't. And then for Huda at the end, do you know who's not a girl's girl? You, Huda. You're not a girl's girl. You're so quick to point fingers about everyone you don't like and they take a smidge of interest in Jeremiah. Oh, I don't like Iris. She's moving funny. How do you know? How do you know? She's hiding things? How do you know? How long has she been there? 2 days? How do you know? How do you know?
It's the same thing that she did with Amaya. She told her that she didn't like Amaya because Amaya took the leap and actually tried to do the challenge with Kiss in the challenge with Jeremiah. Iris trying to get to know Jeremiah, does not like her off the rip. Why? You don't know her. That's so wrong.
Love Island USA Season 7, episodes 14 and 15. These are my thoughts, feelings, and opinions that no one asked for, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. Let's get into it. Also, if you can hear really loud noises in the background, it's my AC blowing, so please just ignore it. I was gonna start this off with Jeremiah and Huda, but after watching all of episode 14 and all of 15, I kind of don't want to anymore. I say I'm on the same boat as the other Islanders. Like, I don't even want to hear their names in the same sentence. It's just like, if they're serious about moving on to each other.
Because that whole drama was ran through by that point. I genuinely was like, why? Like, they're broken up at this point. Who cares?
Like Jeremiah saying how he wants to break the toxic cycle and feel at peace with Iris, and then Huda saying that she just can't trust him anymore and that she's heartbroken, she can't handle it. Then let's really move past it. Let this conversation, let this topic, let this relationship just die. Let's end it here. So I just don't want to talk about it anymore. Because like, I was going to comment on their argument and the circle that they kept talking each other into, but after watching episode 15 and seeing the new bombshells come in, it's more just like, why are we holding on to it? Let us move on.
Yeah, because I wanted to comment on the argument that they had and like how they're kind of solidifying that they don't want to be with each other anymore. Well, Jeremiah saying he doesn't really want to be with Huda anymore. It felt like it was all just gibberish to me in a sense. Like I really couldn't retain what they were trying to make out because she was saying one thing and he was saying another, and like they would kind of flip on their opinions, and like then it would be like a whole different story. Like we talk about something that happened like 2 days ago. It's like they just kept constantly bringing up old things and new things into one scenario, and it's just like, okay, well then if it's that bad, just break up.
Let them move on, you know? But on a lighter note, seeing Austin's reaction to Huda having a kid made me laugh because that's how I feel. But don't get me wrong, admitting to a bunch of strangers that you're possibly trying to grow a new relationship with, it could be tough to admit that because for some people, having a kid is a deal breaker. But seeing how nonchalant Austin was and like how unbothered Ace was, I feel like the only one that had a true big, or at least the biggest reaction to it was Jeremiah, and that's because he was in a couple with her. But everyone else has been so like, hey, I mean, that's cool. So I just feel like that's how no one cares that much. No one cares. Still speaking on the fact of no one caring. Ace, my love, no one is bothered. No one is looking in your direction. No one is showing an expression to your stupid smile because you and Amaya are no longer together. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. You made it blatantly obvious that you do not like Amaya and that you want to be with Shelly. No, because he's over here going like this, hoping that someone will point it out and comment on the fact that him and Amaya are no longer a couple, that Amaya is with Austin. No one cares that much. You think you're the main character, but you're really not.
No, because it was a continuous thing. Like he kept making faces about how happy that him and Amaya weren't paired anymore, but at least the cuts that we saw on TV, no one batted an eye at the fact that Ace was happy that she was no longer with him. He really wanted someone to applaud and be like, yeah, bro, she was a rough one. Because she wasn't. She was in the right in that situation. I just...
Also, I have a little theory about why they did that door game challenge, recouple, whatever you want to call it. I feel like they did it because Ace was sleeping in soul ties, like Ariana said, for like 5 days, and they really needed him back in the bedrooms. That's why they did it so, like, what was it, 2 days after the other recoupling? Because they're like, buddy, you cannot keep sleeping out here because you don't mess with Maya. Like, you really need to go back to your bedroom. So I feel like they did that in order to get him back into the bedroom.
And I stand 10 toes on that opinion, like that theory. They needed him in there. And that's the reason why they did this so quickly after the recoupling already.
From the rest of the video, that's because I'm recording earlier because my thought, feeling, and opinion as I'm watching this part of the episode 14, I just have to get it off my chest now. So yeah, if you're like, whoa, scenery change, it's because I'm recording earlier and I'm going to record my actual reaction to everything after I watch episode 15. Okay. I just want to say this scene right here is literally cinema. It is so good. You could feel the pain coursing through Huda right now. No, because the contrast.
Or maybe it was just because I was a little... That's why. So
of Iris and Jeremiah hugging it out, relieved that they chose each other, to Huda on the floor sobbing. Production knew what they were doing when they're like, yep, put their doors next to each other. This is gonna be great TV. And the shock that you get from him choosing Iris's door, you could just feel everything that they're feeling. You could feel how relieved and at peace he was when he realized that it opened. And you can see how like she was a good surprised that he chose her. And you can feel Huda depression. It's not funny, but it's just like I said, peak
the drama.
We need more of it. Give me more. I'm gonna be honest, episode 15, there wasn't really much going on for me, so I don't really have much to comment on, besides the fact that Hannah moved on from Charlie way too fast. Girl, don't pretend like we didn't see you, and then put it down there, and then you see Pepe.
Because I saw somewhere on the internet that someone caught that as well, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God I wasn't the only one. Because she's over here literally sobbing her eyes out that Charlie's going home, crying to a picture of him, and then a couple of days later, she's getting freaky underneath the sheets. Well, you clearly wasn't that attached.
Movements, like we saw it, babe. Also, I would be way too scared to say anything at any time in any room to anybody because I just feel like Huda is,
Like I said, she's always just looking over your shoulder.
Talking about her, But like, girl, at this point, you're a professional eavesdropper. You do not need to hear that conversation. If you truly are going to move on, just keep pushing, keep walking, keep going. You do not need to know if they're talking about you.
I just love catching up on tea on the internet. But I also saw that apparently Jeremiah confessed that even after they like confirmed and made it official that they weren't going to try to move on, she still tried to make moves on him. She still tried to kiss him. And we saw that in that one scene where they were hugging and she like pulled back and looked up at him and she like clearly made a move to kiss him, but he wasn't feeling it. So I believe him when he said that she kept trying. Next one.
Love Island USA season 7 episodes 16 and 18. These are my thoughts and opinions that no one asked for, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. Let's get into it. Wrote in my notes that Huda and Pepe would be cute. No, moving on. Just between you and me, I think production over there is speaking because there's no reason why these people are constantly spitting something into each other's mouths.
Gross.
This might be a hot take, but I don't think Huda needed to go up to Hannah and be like, hey, I'm gonna pull Pepe for a chat when him and Hannah haven't been together for that long, nor are they a solid couple. Like, it'd be different if
My neck looks so greasy in this video because I had oil on.
like a genuine connection when the first thing that they were doing was just making out behind Charlie's back. Like, you were sobbing on the floor in shambles because Charlie had to go home to later than get freaky in the sheets because we all saw it, Hannah. We all saw it, okay? Like, you moved on really quickly. I just don't believe there's a genuine connection there. I think it's all lust. The Huda hate is forced. Like,
It was at this point because she was just slowly falling into a background character if she wasn't doing much anymore. So everyone who was just getting on her for no reason at this point was just like, now you're just doing it to be a bully.
I understand not wanting someone negative in your space all day, every day, because they do have to endure that. But if you reach the point where you're talking about her constantly behind her back and in a negative way, making her feel worse from afar, then just go around anymore. Tell her that you think it's best if she goes home and sorts herself out. And I'm glad that someone like Sierra is stepping up and telling her, like, hey, you're doing this wrong. You need to chill. Speaking on that major Huda hate, Ace is a big hater. That man went out of his way to break up a couple because he just doesn't like Jeremiah. I feel like he's low-key intimidated.
He's not low-key, he's high-key intimidated by him.
No, because even if you are a Jeremiah hater, which I'm not, I see the side where I didn't. I see Huda's. I'm sorry.
Sue me.
And say that he doesn't have the looks and he doesn't have the charm. And to top it all off, he is one of the taller guys in the villa, which Ace doesn't have the height. I don't know for a short king, but Ace is a menace. Like, Ace is definitely playing this game. I'll tell you why in a second. And it just hurts my heart to see Amaya so sad because none of the men want her. They can't handle her big personality. They can't handle her emotions and her affection. She's a lover girl and no one sees that and no one gets it. They all get turned off by it. And it's killing me because all of these men are gaslighting her and making her think that she's the problem when she's doing nothing but trying to find a connection with somebody. Hashtag Amaya deserves better.
Please. It won't be shown in these TikToks, but later on when they go to Casa more, even then Amaya is put on the chopping block because none of the guys wanted her. And so she kind of has to like try to fight her way to get somebody. And when she does secure her spot with Zach, even then it still feels like on the surface. Like, I just feel like she's a little bit more into him than he is into her. And when it comes to the situation of having to choose between Zach and I think his name was JD, I kind of wish that she picked JD because he seems like the type to actually care who she is. He even mentioned in his little speech like she's not afraid to be who she is, and I like that he mentioned that because she's a lot of personality. I feel like he could handle that. I can feel like he can handle her. I do. So I was kind of upset when she picked Zach, but I can understand why, because Zach was the first one to give genuine interest in her, which is kind of seeming phony right now. But who knows? We'll see.
I love with Sierra. She needs to leave Nick and come to me.
I do.
Because I need all of her outfits. Okay, now this is the point where I'm about to tell you why Ace is such a menace. Okay, so hear me out because I have a theory. I think Ace is playing this game by sabotaging all the relationships around him in order to get a leg up and furthering and securing the win. I do not think this man is loyal, and I think his eyes are always wandering because we saw how great of a conversation that was between him and Iris and that he genuinely wanted to get to know her. And I think he was also...
No, because his chemistry with Iris when their conversations was crazy. And I'm really surprised that he continued on with Shelly when he knew deep down that he had a better spark there with Iris.
Extremely excited when he saw how hot the new bombshell was. Plays in a picture every time because he needs someone like her who everyone loves in order to further and secure the win because they're going to pick someone that they love. Hashtag Amaya deserves better. She did not deserve to be on the chopping block. Huda is over there in that diary room crying her eyes out saying that she can't catch a break when have we seen Amaya gets picked by Ace? He never even really wanted her. Gets to know Austin, turns out he don't really want her either. New bombshell comes in, he ain't even looking at her direction. And then to top it all off, when America has to choose who their favorite islander is, she's on...
I completely forgot about that. Because for a second I thought I was talking about Casa more here. But no, I was talking about when TJ came in. He didn't even want... He wasn't even looking at her. And then like the whole America vote thing, which I knew off the rip that she was going to be up there. Because the Amaya hate is forced as well. I was just like, dang. Girly Pop cannot catch a break.
Would be wounded. Speaking of choosing favorite islander, America, what are we doing? Why did we save Ace and why did we save Huda? Okay, yeah, you want great TV, but do we need that toxic energy? You can see how happy Ace was when he realized that he got to choose, or at least put an input on who gets to go home. Because now he can take the remaining bit of his haterism and manipulate Nick and Taylor, who he has wraps around his finger, and get Jeremiah sent home. And when Taylor is giving the speech saying like, oh, it was a hard decision, man, it's not personal, Ace was over here in the background shaking his head, huffing and puffing like it was a hard decision. Buddy, you knew what you were doing from the jump. You were waiting for this, and I'm so glad that Jeremiah heard that too. He was like, wait a minute, because this don't sound like Taylor, this sounds like Ace. If my theory is even slightly bit true, then Ace is generally using these people to give himself the advantage, because removing Jeremiah, like voting him out, getting the guys to vote him out was really good for his game. And it also is helping another piece in sabotaging.
Yes, because the biggest competition, even though Ace loves to claim that Nick is like his best friend, they're second in line to being the biggest threat when it comes to America choosing who they want their winning couple to be. If Ace is sticking to his game plan of picking Shelly, America's sweetheart right now, then they are one of the top couples. And then you have Nick and Sierra, who are going very strong. And then you have Taylor and Alandria, who was also going strong, even though Taylor's not into Alandria like that. Also, it could be because he just wants his people in the winning rounds, if you know what I mean. Like, choose between your friends and your enemies. Who would you want to be up there with you? Your friends, clearly. And I feel like that's what he wants. He's just picking who he wants in the villa, and it's working in his favor.
The next big threat, which is Sierra and Nick. He don't gotta worry about Taylor and Alandria because he can already tell off the jump that Taylor's just not into her. Whereas Sierra and Nick, they've been going strong since they recoupled and voted Bella off. The bombshell only had two people that she was interested in. One was Jeremiah, one was Nick. Now that Jeremiah went home, she's obviously gonna float over to the other person that she found interesting, which is Nick. And considering that he isn't locked down like Sierra is, and they had that argument, his eyes are going to wander over to her, and that is possibly, maybe, I don't want to bet on it, ruin him and Sierra. And of course you have Ace back here, yeah, like Chihuahua saying, oh, it's a red flag, it's a red flag.
Seriously, Ace is just in everyone's ear. First he got into Jeremiah's head, then he started getting into Nick's head, which I've come to realize after watching these recent episodes that Nick is just not falling for right now. He seems genuinely into Sierra.
Love Island USA Season 7, Episodes 19 and 20. These are my thoughts and opinions on no one asked.
But I'm going to tell you anyways.
Anyways, let's get into it. First, I want to say, do not look at these pimples. I am so sorry that there's craters on my face. I kind of want to start this off by saying that I find it really crazy that Love Island USA, at least that version, had to put out a statement not only on their Instagram, but in the middle of an episode saying that these are real people, stop bullying them. I personally want to apologize for any negative, hateful things I have said throughout these TikToks, because I know I've said some things that come off negative that could be a part of that hate train, and eventually they will see all of this on social media, and it's definitely going to hurt their feelings and ruin their self-esteem, and no one ever deserves that. So I'm sorry.
Seriously, I'm joking all of the time when I make these TikToks. I'm never being serious. I would tell you if I was. These are all jokes. They're all just for the love of the drama and reality TV. There are people out there that are genuinely sending hate to like Huda and her daughter and her baby daddy and like Nick and like a lot of people genuinely do not like these people because of what they watch. Mine's all fun and games, and I know that can be harmful as well, and I apologize, but please do not take anything that I say serious. These are real people. Clearly they're not actors, nothing, but for me, low-key, kind of, sort of, maybe, it's like a telenovela. It's really fun to watch the drama and the tears and the fighting, you know? That's what I go based off of. I'm not bashing their real person character. That's not me. No. But for the people that they're portraying right now, because they're all putting on faces for the camera, the people that they're portraying on camera, either I like you or I don't.
But getting back on track to my thoughts, feelings, and opinions, it amazes me how well Ace is playing this game, because he can sit there and talk to these men, his buddies, his friends, and make them question how strong their connection is, just so that he can go and be like, oh yeah, me and Shelly, we have the best connection in the house.
Which is what he did. He managed to get Nick to second guess Sierra for that moment, so he can go and play in everyone's face and be like,
yeah, I have the strongest connection. We're gonna win this.
That's what it was implying. Because right after, when Nick was like,
oh no, because me and Sierra, we have a strong connection too. We're locked in.
Ace is gonna be like, oh, you weren't saying that 2 seconds ago. Well, yeah, because he assumed that everyone here was gonna say the same thing.
Like, just say that you're sabotaging everybody and call it a day, buddy. We get it. You want to win. When it comes to these two episodes, I don't really have much to comment on, besides the fact that I'm still Ace's biggest hater, because there's no way that you're going to sit here leaned up, looking your lips, smiling at Coco, calling her gorgeous and whatnot, basically using the same lines that you used on Chili onto Coco, just so you can secure her, so you don't...
I wouldn't say that he was using the same lines. It was more of like he was just giving the same energy. It was if he was saying something that he said to Shelly, he would like twist it and turn it in a sense, and then repeat it to Coco. So it wasn't the exact words, but it was under that same umbrella.
Because if she did not stand up, you would have went home. He saw that Vanna was leaning towards TJ and he was like, dang, I need a backup plan. Also, am I the only one that thinks that Jaden low-key gets Bella vibes and that's the reason why Nick was into her?
They look really similar. And I feel like that's like a low-key reason why he was into Jaden.
Also, you can just tell that not a single one of those guys was a genuine friend to Jeremiah because none of them bawled their eyes out the way that they did sending Nick home to Jeremiah. Not a tear, but they're over here hugging, sobbing because Nick has to go home. Y'all are shady.
Jeremiah later on in that interview says that like, yeah, they all gave everyone else an explanation of why they were sent home, but when it came to me, I didn't get one. It was just like, it wasn't personal comment, which is crazy. They were never friends.
Okay, this last note that I have is a fun one, and it's something that I've been seeing all over the internet a lot recently, and it's something that I thought about personally as well. I just haven't really kept it on the forefront because of all the other drama and couples that happened in Love Island so far. It's the Nick and Alandria ship that America is kind of going for, and I can see it. Because at the beginning, very first episode, they were feeling each other. There was kind of a vibe there. And then the Lumberjack game, they made out, and there was a vibe there as well. And I'm just like, oh my god, maybe the universe did this on purpose, because there's no way that the two of them got voted off. And then they're reconnecting in a car. And they just seemed way too excited to see each other. Canon? And while we're speaking on ships and whatnot that America is making up, I also see a lot.
The Nick and Alandria ship, it is explored later on. Nick and Alandria, like I was saying, they had a chemistry there. He was obviously attracted to her way before, and they just never got to explore it. And she mentioned that she was attracted to him way before, but they never got to explore it. I think that they'd be really cute. I think they'd be really good together, and I think that they should explore it. The only worst part about it is that Alandria with Taylor, which is Nick's best friend, and then Nick is with Sierra, who's Alandria's best friend, and that would be very, very chaotic. More on Sierra's end than Taylor's. Push him to the back. We don't care. Just like, I don't know, I'm conflicted because I really do like Nick and Sierra, and I also do like Nick and Alandria. I do think that they should be canon.
A lot of Taylor and Huda ship edits. I mean, I can understand why people are saying that, but do I see them dating? No, not really. Also, if the Zach dude is playing with the Maya, I'm going to be upset.
So like I said before, he's giving kind of phony. Like, he had to do what he had to do in order to stay in the game, and now he might not just follow through. Like, I feel like he would definitely be looking other directions if other beautiful women come into the villa, or even if he gets to know the other women in the villa as well. I'm gonna stop here for part 1 of my Love Island thought, feelings, and opinion series. I will be posting the rest probably. I probably want to do this is a 2-parter. It just depends on how long it goes. So yeah, that was basically me just kind of giving more of an insight on how I felt about the Love Island episodes of this season 7, the USA, like I mentioned way before. I would love to have some discourse in the comments if you guys are into that. On my TikTok, in the comments, I love to have discourse. I love to talk about Love Island because none of my friends like the show. I feel like I'm the only one. So I don't really have anyone to talk to about it. So I felt like I would just share how I'm feeling about it with you guys, then just keep it bottled up inside. It's not fun when you have to keep it to yourself. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, buy my book on Amazon.com, Prophecy with the Moons by me. Follow Chantel on TikTok, follow Chantel on Instagram. All of that will be linked below in the description. Like, subscribe.
Right now. Do it right now.
And leave a comment or 2. Share it with your friends, your family, your dog. I don't care. Show it to your fish. I'm Nevaeh, and I'll see you guys in the next video.